Chapter 10 talks about psychosocial development during early childhood. Now, during the early childhood years, children are going to work really hard on controlling their emotions in a better way than they did during the first 2 years of life. So you will see less of tantrums, and you will start to see a better control of their emotions or frustration. And this is mainly because there is a maturation in the prefrontal cortex. The prefrontal cortex, again, is that area of the brain that is in charge of helping us kind of control everything that we do and how we feel, regulate how we feel. So, of course, controlling our emotions is a lifelong journey, and we still, even as adults, might lose it sometimes or become overwhelmed with certain emotions. But generally, during preschool years, what we do is use something like the feeling chart to help children do what scientists call name it to tame it. So, naming the emotion kind of helps calm down the child and brings back the connection between the prefrontal cortex and the limbic system so that they can actually regulate the expression of that strong emotion. Now, that's not going to be easy. It's going to take a lot of effort. And that's why another term that is used for emotional regulation is effortful control, meaning that it is not an effortless procedure. It's a very effortful, full of effort. It takes a lot of work from the child to control their feeling when they see that another child grabbed a toy from them, or controlling their feeling of anxiety when they have to wait their turn or not blurt out a question or an answer when the teacher is reading a story. So there's a lot of control of those emotions that's taking place, and it requires a lot of work in order for it to happen. When we talk about psychosocial development, we have to also bring in Erickson, and we are now in the third stage of development, and that is initiative versus guilt. Between the ages of 3 and 6, children now are done with the autonomy versus shame and doubt stage, and now moving into more exploration of their environment, more skills to be developed. So now they're taking initiative into copying and modeling the skills or the actions of the adults around them and exploring their environment. With every exploration, with every initiative that they're going to take, there's going to be a very important factor in the response from the caretaker or from the adult. So the child is innately taking the initiative, trying out something. Can I do it? Can I try it, mom? Can I pour the milk by myself? Can I help you do this? So that initiative of can I do it is a natural part of the development. However, if I respond to that can I with sure, go ahead, you can do it, let's try it, and I'm supportive, and that ability, whether it is successful or not, is a source of pride and support, then I am going to get a child who feels proud of their ability and success and will continue to take initiative the next time. But if I respond with guilting the child or calling him, oh, look how clumsy you are, or that was such a mess that you made, or you stupid, or you ignorant, or whatever it is, then that child is probably not going to feel so proud of their initiative, and they might start to feel guilt. And the chances that they want to take or the attempts that they're going to try might be reduced. Now, as children are taking initiative and interacting with their environment, they're also building what is called their self-concept, and that is their own perception of themselves. Of course, children build their perception of themselves based on the reactions of the adults around them. So when they take the initiative and they succeed, they feel proud of themselves, they feel smart, they feel capable. But if they have an adult who guilts them and shames them and calls them something like stupid or ignorant or ugly or whatever those negative things that we might say to our children, whether we say it because we mean it or we're saying it because we were so upset or stressed at the mess they made or the mistake they made, it's all working on that buildup of self-concept. So you're either going to have a child with positive self-concept or a child who feels negative about their abilities and their self-concept. Now, there is nothing worse than having a negative self-concept because of markers or things that you have no control over. So having a negative self-concept based on the skin color or the hair texture or the color of their eyes or their teeth or things that they have no control over. This is why it's very important to watch out for what kind of environment is the child growing in and what kind of messages are being promoted around that child. Now, when the children are taking initiative, they are supported by what is called protective optimism. And this comes from the fact that children are extremely egocentric and they really think of themselves as the best thing that ever happened. So they really over exaggerate their abilities. If you were to ask a preschooler who's the best runner in the class, they're probably going to say, I am. And if they hear that somebody built something like a great tower, they will probably interject and tell the teacher, well, I can do that, or I built one too. They always want to get that recognition because they really feel proud of themselves and they really feel capable and they're really protected by that optimistic self of their ability. However, at the same time that protective optimism is happening, they're also watching out to all these negative comments that people might be throwing their way. And they are listening, and they're listening to the adult in their environment and what kind of words are they saying, whether it's about them or about the other. So this is one of my favorite pictures, because in this picture you can see these two children who their best friends wanted to get a haircut, and they wanted to trick their teacher so she wouldn't be able to tell them apart. You can tell that they are in the stage of cognitive development where they are in the pre I just lost the word completely right now. Cognitively, they're really focused on appearance. They are not really thinking beyond the haircut. They're not looking at other attributes that might be different in them. But at the same time, these children definitely grew up around an environment that did not discriminate towards skin color, and therefore they did not develop a negative self-concept of themselves or the other, and they continued to be comfortable with each other and be friends with each other. So as children continue to develop and build that self-concept, they are surrounded by an environment or a parent or a caregiver or an adult who is either supportive or not. And based on that, they are going to either have a positive self-concept or a negative self-concept. Motivation is going to be that impulse that makes you want to do things. And when you're a preschooler, you're in the stage of early childhood, your intrinsic motivation is by default your initiative. You want to try things out. You want to test it for yourself. Can I is an intrinsic motivation. Can I do it? is an example of intrinsic motivation. But then when I do it and I see that the adult commented on what I did, praised what I did, then I'm going to possibly do it again the next time because I want to get that extrinsic motivation. So extrinsic motivation is tied to the adult or the outside person telling me something that I want to hear, like a praise or a word of reinforcement and encouragement that would want me to do it again. What we want to do is stay away from praising children and help them develop intrinsic motivation to do the right thing or to take initiative without waiting for a reward. And if we do support them with words, that those words are targeting their effort, not themselves. So we don't want to praise them, good boy, good girl. We want to tell them that, you worked really hard on that painting and you must feel really proud of your picture. That's how we promote encouragement versus praise.